Even though sometimes I'll be playing with my life and having like Lightroom, Illustrator, and Photoshop open at the same time.
Look,
Don't play with your life like that. But
look, I've had, I've had like Lightroom only open and set some stuff to edit automatically and had to leave it overnight and wake up the next day and it's not done.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Courtney Norman, Courtney with a K. I am a creative, a Christian creative photographer, creative director, graphic designer, all the stuff, you know. Um, I go to Karamak and I study digital media production. I am a third year student, and yeah. Well, I think it all starts with the preparation that I go into before the shoot, as in, like, when it comes to the discussions that I've had with my clients, or even if it's not like a paid gig, just people that I am executing a creative concept with. Like, we're always trying to just flesh out, like, what do we want our end product to look like? What do we want? The vision, you know? So when I'm actually on the shoot, I just try to execute that to the best of my ability. I usually like to have very concrete examples of like what I want things to look at, even though I don't fully like, maybe I won't fully follow it because I also do like to wing it sometimes because I feel like when I just let my creative juices flow, it just comes out a lot better. But yeah, I usually have like, inspo, um, vision boards. We always put together a vision board, just like the vibe, the clothes, the location, all that stuff just kind of put together in our head. So when we're actually like on the set, it's just like, ensuring that the vibe is right, ensuring that we're all on the same page, me, the client, the model, whatever it is. And even if there's anybody else who I'm working with, any other creatives, we're just trying to execute this to the best of our ability. Everybody is kind of get everybody into kind of like an optimistic mindset. So it's like if anything goes wrong with the location, with the wardrobe, we can still make this work. Um, when it comes to the model or the client, when it comes to like poses, um, I think the preparation before helps a lot with that. You know, just giving the person an idea of, what we want to do, what we want you to look like, what the person wants themselves to look like. Try to make them as comfortable as possible. Not everybody's top tier model. Not everybody know how to pose or knows how to, you know, situate themselves how they want to be situated. So, we can offer a little assistance. I guess what helps a lot is that as much as I am the person behind the camera, I'm also in front of the camera for myself. So I know what it's like to, look this way or look that way. So I think my own personal experience, um, being in front of the camera also helps the person kind of better understand because I'm more able to like demonstrate. Because sometimes, you look at a picture and you're like, okay, but we don't really know how to do this. So sometimes, I have to take charge and show them what to do. And yeah, we just make sure that everybody's, good with the idea, everybody's comfortable, and things are just flowing well. Yeah. Honestly, I just like the dramatic effect that black and white brings, but also, like, I feel like when things are in black and white, a viewer is more able to like form a perception or their own personal relation to the picture because all the colors, even like the way how I do my black and whites, there's a lot of shadows, there's a lot of contrast, so not everything that would be seen in color is going to be seen in the black and white. So I feel like it adds more mystery, more, like I gotta look a little longer, because sometimes you see something one time, but then when you look again, you see something else. Because the black and white really has its way of, you know, not making everything so easy. Like sometimes you really need to take your time and just look at what's being presented, and I think black and white does that. Even though, like my creative journey now compared to like when I just started, I have been a lot more open to color, mostly with just like how um our culture is. Like we have a very colorful culture as Jamaicans, as Caribbean people, and sometimes a little color needed here and there. But yeah, I just feel like black and white is always gonna work, and it's just something that I enjoy seeing and enjoy executing. Okay, if I've ever had someone, okay, I can't really choose one person, but like if you see my page, you know I have my two top girlies, and that would be my cousin Kadia. Um, like whenever I go home and she's home too, I just gotta be like, "Hey, girl, you free?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm free." And I'm just like, "Okay, just bring a bag of clothes." And yeah, man, like there's barely ever a vision board, a concept, anything when it comes to Kadia. We just come and we execute, and it always comes out fire. Secondly, I would not secondly, but you know, like I said, my two top girlies would definitely be Abby Jones. Everybody know Abby, the one of the top creators on this campus for sure. And me and that girl, when we come together, gonna be it's just always gonna be good. And she's so fun to work with. She's a creative director herself. So, when we agree on something, when we get a concept, literally all comes down to time because we know so the execution are decent. So I would say those two persons for sure. Guys, I okay. Well, for one, I would say that I am a manual shooter. I don't really do like the auto because I feel like I don't know. I guess I've passed that. I've been working with manual for a really long time, so because as we all know, like manual, like you have a lot more control and mostly like how you know Jamaica weather to me always unpredictable. Whether the sun all of a sudden get harsh or all of a sudden the cloud them a move and all kind of something. Like you just need to like be able to change your settings and change your settings quickly to just adapt. And mostly I like to shoot in a way where I have to do the least amount of work when I'm editing. So, you know, I don't want things to be overexposed if I know that I want my editing style to come out a certain way, mostly when it comes to like black and white. Sometimes my black and whites can look overexposed, and sometimes that's intentionally. But most of the times, I like my raw images to look very neutral, very, you know. I hate shooting in sharp light, like midday. Like no, it's either gonna be early morning or afternoon. Like I'm not gonna deal with all those technicalities when I go into Lightroom. I'm not saying that it's impossible to work with, but I'm just saying that I like to just go into Lightroom with less burdens. Like just do that, and then I'm out. So I would say that I shoot in a way that's like most accommodating for what the end product should look like. Um, In terms of like settings, like I said, it really depends on like the time of day and what the weather is like. But usually my ISO is like um what is my ISO? Um Many occasions I don't pass like 800, and I guess for those who know the technicalities of like a camera, then they'll understand what that means. And then like for example, I love to do like blurry motion shots, so that means that there's gonna be like um a what's the word? I don't want to say the wrong thing, even though it's not the wrong thing in my head, but like a low aperture or like a high f stop to make sure things aren't too overexposed. So it's like like my camera is like taking the shots like really slowly, even though the person's moving like quickly. So there's stuff like that, but I don't really have a specific like setting that I work with all the time. I just ensure that the raw photos like look proper enough that when I go into Lightroom and do my little tweaks, I'm not in there for like 3 hours on end. Um, yeah. So I just really go there and do what needs to be done. That's all I can really say. Okay, so like for basic editing, like like the color grading and the filters and stuff, I usually use just Lightroom. But when I wanna like make add more like creative flares or like compositions to my photos, for example, if I want to combine two photos or if I want to like, you know, add any illustrations or what I would say like doodles or because sometimes I do like to add like, what's the word? Some like illustrative concepts to my photos. So I'll usually do those in like Illustrator or Lightroom. Not Illustrator or Lightroom, Illustrator or Photoshop. That's what I meant to say. So yeah. Um so like when I want to do like my little scribbles, my little writings, even something as basic as laying out my posts. Because if you look at my posts, there's never just 10 pictures or 20 pictures in a slide. There's always like, it's always like a cohesive carousel, so photos like overlap on different slides and stuff. So I lay all of that out in like Illustrator because I feel like it's just easier for me to like do the stuff on like artboards and stuff like that, and I can just put in my little doodles, my little illustrations. So yeah, so yeah, it's mainly confined to Lightroom, Illustrator, and Photoshop. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm still getting the hang of that, but definitely not. I mean, I guess it depends. I guess it depends. I personally don't like to use like Google Drives because you have to have space to do that, and yeah, it's just not something that has worked for me long term. So nowadays, I usually stick to like probably like WeTransfers or if you have a website that has like a collection or like cloud aspect to it. Like for example, I use Pixieset for my website, but Pixieset also has a collections feature to its services. So I will put all the pictures in a collection, and I also think like the presentation is a lot better because you can add like a cover image. It gives the client like a walkthrough guide of how to download your pictures, how to share your pictures. So I just feel like the presentation is better when I send my pictures through Pixieset. So usually when I know that I have like a lot of pictures to send, or it's for like a paid client, then I usually put it through Pixieset collections because it's just better presentation, and I know it gives like a certain level of like quality. Like yeah, you enjoyed like the experience doesn't end at the end of the shoot, like also after that, like when you actually are delivering the end product, that also helps with like your image and your brand. So yeah, I think Pixie Set Collections is like a really good part, and their websites are usually really good. I pay for mine so that I can have like unlimited pictures on my website because the unpaid version limits the amount of pictures on the website to like 100, I think, which sounds like a lot, but with me, no, that is never enough. I think I like to have a lot of things. So I keep a lot of things on my website. Not that this is related to the question, but I kind of treat my website as like a creative archive and not just confined to like my own personal projects, but also to like school projects, internship product projects, any collaborations that I have. So yeah, I think Pixie Set is also a nice platform to use for stuff like that.
Um, I I don't really have a set rate that I use because most of my shoots are for my friends, so I end up doing a lot of free work that my friends tell me not to do. And yeah, I mean, it just depends on what the person can afford. I don't so much do photography for the business side of it. Um, I really just do it for the fun of it. And so normally someone has to take photos. I don't know, say to them, what can you afford? And that's it. I don't really think too much into it. One day I aspire to be like certain people, and be up there in the photography community. But for now, I'm just a little trying youth, trying to make it in life.
People, don't you see how I'm look on me, guys? I like. Well, I don't know if a lot of people say this, but I think business is really hard. Like, you like like I don't know if it's everybody, but I know that a good amount of people, they just truly have a passion for like the arts and like the creative aspects about it. And then when it comes to the business, it's like, hello, Like I remember when I just started like putting together rates, and like me just ask people like how much you think this worth, because I don't know, like um I don't know, like I grow like I think one thing is that I grew up around like creative people, you know, people who just do what them like and do what them love. We don't really talk about how much this costs and how much that costs. You know, we do the work by like our own means, you know. Like I do a lot of like free work, and like when I get a pay work, then yeah. And they're like a good there's like I have like a list of people who I know that will come to me to like accomplish a certain job, and I'll get paid for it. But like guys, rates and all that kind of stuff, don't ask me because I could not tell you. I could not tell you, like literally when I know a point, I know the point in like my creative journey where, you know, we kind of need to raise the price a little bit. Like yesterday's price is not today's price, but I still needed to ask people advice about that. And you should never feel shameful for asking people about advice for like things like that, because you know people may think that, oh, it's just so trivial, you know, it's just money. Like no,
Just
like
money.
like
Just money.
like you still gotta be wise in your decisions when it comes to people's money, because you have to understand that even in like a country like this, there's a lot of people who don't really see your worth as a creative. There's a lot of people who still consider like our jobs as, or our passions as, like, you know, like one hobby.
Mm.
Like no, like this is something that I genuinely, you know, sat down, thought about, and years after years I wanted to continue doing. And you know, if I earn from it, then great. But just belittling it to like a hobby, something that I do in my free time, like no. So yeah, you should never feel insecure or shy about asking people like how to do this and how to do this properly, because this is something that you love to do.
Uh, you said hacks or apps? Oh, okay. Can't speak English. Um, I think I don't really use any. For me, editing is a very weird process because um the first 20 photos I edit are just to start editing. Normally, by the time I reach, I'm three-quarter done, is when I actually start liking the edits that I'm doing, and then I have to go back and change the first set that I already edited. So, for me, editing takes a long time. Sometimes it might, uh, sometimes it might be 3 days, 2 days. You know, um, yeah, I don't like. There's certain edits that I like that I think aren't publicly liked by a lot of persons. So I have a lot of friends who like warmer tones. I personally don't. Yeah, I've always liked Courtney's black and white. I wanted to steal it one time, but she already did it so much that I just really couldn't. So yeah, but for me, I love to use Canva to edit some of my photos. I think Canvas are nice, cool things that I can do with them. Otherwise, it's just editing in Lightroom. Yeah. And I used to really love certain Sony cameras, but these days I'm not really so much picky about cameras. For me, I think the difference between cameras for most people, especially for social media, aren't that noticeable anymore. So I don't know. For me, it's if I could afford it, I'd buy the most expensive camera I could find. Just to say that I have it. Yeah. For me, it's the definitely the lens. I don't so much care about the camera that I have, as much as I care about the lens that I have. I've always wanted a prime lens. A prime lens really is just a lens that can't zoom, so it's a set focal length, right? Yeah. So yeah, they tend to give better quality. So I've always wanted a prime lens, but poverty has found me and has not eluded me.
I mean, I can't really talk when it comes to camera because I've had the same camera that I began with. I started in I started photography, you could say, in third form. I got my camera in fourth form. I am now in my third year of university, and we're working with the same camera.
So like 8 years,
Um,
7 years.
um, yeah, I like. What a lot of people don't know is that I've been working with like the same kit lens, like the 15 to 85, 85. Yeah, I think it's the 15 to 85 is like the basic kit lens that you usually get with that camera, and I still use that to this day. I was fortunate enough to be able to afford um a 50 millimeter prime lens. That was around like I think sixth form, around sixth form time. So I've been using those two lenses for like the past couple of years. But I have been like, don't sleep on that 18 to 55 because I'm telling you, 90% of my shots nowadays are with that lens. And I don't know, I love a wide angle, a wide image. Like mostly with the black and white, it just adds this level of like depth to a picture opposed to like using the 50. Like that's just me. Of course, if I had the money, I would get another lens. I was thinking probably like a 85 or something, or like a telephoto lens like a 70 to um I don't remember right now, 70 to 300 or something like that. I don't remember. But the point is, that's just what I remember when I was actually thinking about it. I haven't actually thought about it in a long time. Cause I just know that I'm not gonna get it for now, and neither do I pressure myself to like get new things when I know that I'm working well the things that I have now. Mostly when I know that I can't afford them. Um but like if I was supposed to upgrade my camera, or at the time that I upgrade my camera, I would probably be looking at like Sony cameras. I really love the colors. I really, really love the colors that come from a Sony camera. Like Nikon colors, I have a Nikon D3500 right now, and the colors are really good on it. But I really, really love the colors that come from a Sony camera. I think they're great. Um, what he said about editing and how like people don't really like um the way how he edits or like muted tones. I can definitely relate to that because if you like scroll down my page, you'll see that like my colors they don't pop. Like this is not gonna be your average vibrant um editing. No, like I love deep muted greens. Like the most color that you probably see is probably like a orange. There's not really much yellow. Probably like reds. But yeah, my blues are kind of muted too. Like my editing style is very calm, I would say. Like there's certain parts where it looks vibrant, but I think overall it's like quite calm, mostly with like the black and whites. Like there's not much vibrancy. But I think people have grown to appreciate. I think our creative industry has grown to appreciate like what they would see as unorthodox editing styles. Like people aren't so what's the word um hesitant towards it, mostly when it comes to like booking photographers who have a certain editing style, because people are very much used to seeing one look. So I feel like when you come with your fresh new look, your fresh new idea, don't be confined to what you see and around you, because there was a point um in my creative journey when I was like, should I continue editing like this? You know, like me feel like it affect the income, because people pay for what they want. Um, even though you have some people that come to you and they know what your work looks like and they come and ask for something entirely different. Like, lady, this is what I do, and If you don't
You
like it,
knew this is what, right? You
you knew
knew.
that this is what you knew that this is what my work looks like, and you're asking me, can it be a little bit brighter? No, it can't, Susan. No, it can't. I'm so sorry. Like, of course, of course, I have adjusted my editing styles for a certain type of work because obviously corporate and like certain organizations have a certain look. And obviously, if you're working for those organizations, you have to, you have to adjust. But when it comes to your own personal work, if you know that you have this set style and this is a set style that you appreciate and that you built for yourself, then you should stick to it. So, yeah.
Um. Okay. I mean, a camera if you can afford one is great. I would say a kit lens that comes with it is also pretty good. Having a nice SD card, not just any random SD card, because some SD cards don't have a quick read and write speed, and so it takes forever. So a known brand would be good with a good amount of storage, because if you're going to be doing photography, then you're going to sometimes be shooting in RAW. What?
Storage, I'm the biggest up people.
That's so true. So yeah, I mean, you have some people who buy, can afford the 500 and something gigabyte SD cards. For me, I have my little 256 that I struggle with day by day.
I don't even have a 256. I want it
I
for
just
phone.
I only recently got that 256 and I'm so grateful for it. Haven't deleted photos off it yet. Um a tripod is good because sometimes it's so tiring holding the camera in your hand. If you want like those motion photos, I think it makes it easier to maybe. Yeah, I mean, what else is there?
Um, I do agree that a tripod is really good. I feel like it's mostly if you're somebody who's just starting out and you don't really have much people to work with, don't limit yourself to people. You can literally work with yourself. So, like, getting a tripod would be great for like those little mini practice executions or whatever. What else would I suggest? Um, I'd say a really good camera bag. I think like take care of your stuff. Mostly if you're like me who's had their stuff for a really long time. Guess what? It's because I had a really good camera bag that kept everything in good condition, I guess. And take care of the things you have. Um, yeah. I don't know. What's PC?
Oh,
People may I use the same
anyone but
laptop
the
from
one
high
I
school.
have.
All right. Whatever work. Me just make sure so me close all of the app them. So when Lightroom I run, nothing do go wrong. Even though sometimes I'll be playing with my life and having like Lightroom, Illustrator, and Photoshop open at the same time.
Look,
Don't play with your life like
no.
that. But
Look, I've had like Lightroom only open and set some stuff to edit automatically and had to leave it overnight and wake up the next day and it's not done.
no, actually.
But it's terrible. It's terrible. You need a proper laptop. You need a proper laptop.
I mean, I've been told many times, mostly by our friend Marcos, that come on, Courtney, you need to get a Mac, and I'm just like, me no have Mac money. Me don't have Mac. People work with what you have. Work with what you have. Okay. It's much more about you, the shooter, than the equipment that you shoot with. You know, because like I said, I've been working with the same basic equipment for like 8 years, and you know, people have still seen like my work improve, and it's not because of the equipment; it's because of the shooter. So you know, and like even if you can't afford a camera, you can start with your phone. It's all about concept, it's all about perception, it's all about perspective. So if you can't start at like camera stage, start with your phone. That's absolutely okay. I know a lot of people started with their phone. It's all about the eye. Like what you see. So don't don't feel bad if you can't afford a certain thing, because that's okay. The point is that you can still make some really good work with whatever you have.
Alright.
Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for next time. And with all being said, thank you guys. Stay tuned. Big up.